Hello everyone, welcome to my booktube channel. So I thought as a fun little introduction to my YouTube channel, I would just tell you my 6-star reads, which is like my favorite books of all time basically, because I am very generous with my 5 stars because I read for enjoyment and I'm very picky with what books that I actually do read. So like most of the time I end up enjoying the books that I read, so they just end up being like 4 or 5 stars to me. But the 6 stars though, they broke the scale. They're so good. They're my favorite books of all time. They hold a special place in my heart. Either like I related to it, or I just read it at like the most perfect time, or I just gobbled it up, you know? I don't know what else there is to say. 6 stars are mwah, chef kiss, immaculate, my favorite books of all time. I am going to give some honorable mentions first, which are like, they're my favorite books, but I wouldn't say they're 6 stars, if that makes sense. So, first honorable mention, we have Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda. This was my favorite book when I was younger, like before I like got really back into reading, because I used to read when I was in like middle school, high school. Then I just stopped for a long time, and then I read this in 2017, but then I didn't like fully get back into like reading until 2021. So yeah, this was like the only book that I read in like 2017. I love her. She was great for me at the time, and I reread it in like 2022, and that's why I say it's not really like a 6-star read, but it's still like special to me, you know? Another honorable mention is I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman. When I first read this, I was like, no, that is a 6-star read. Like, I love her. It still holds like a very special place in my heart. It's just, I did reread it in like 2023, I think it was, and it just didn't hit the same, unfortunately. I just did not remember the ending feeling so abrupt. You can't see, but up here on the top shelf, like you can just barely see the coloring book. That entire shelf is my Alice Oseman collection, because they're my favorite author of all time, and I have many editions of many books. So when I reread this, I actually read the hardcover edition, and it has some like bonus stuff at the end. And so while I was reading, I didn't realize that I was literally on like the last few pages. I thought I remembered there being more, and then it just ends, and I was like, oh, wait, that's where it ends? So I feel like if this had just like maybe 3 more chapters or something, you know, like not that many more, but like just a little bit more, it wouldn't have felt so abrupt, and it would still be 6 stars. But all that being said, she does still hold a very special place in my heart, and I do love this book. Probably more than most people love this book, because I feel like she's the forgotten child of Alice Oseman's books. You know, someone has to love her, and that someone is me. I just don't love her as much as I do the first time I read it. And another honorable mention is If This Gets Out by Sophie Gonzalez and Cal Dietrich. The reason this is an honorable mention and not like a definitive 6-star is because I haven't reread it since the first time I read it. And based on the fact that I have reread some other books and then they've like not been 6-star reads anymore, I'm scared. But I do have a lovely signed copy because Sophie Gonzalez is my second favorite author, if you couldn't tell from this entire stack of her books right here. But yeah, I just know that when I did read this, I loved it, ate it up. It was perfectly made for me. As a fangirl of bands who also may or may not have totally shipped relationships she shouldn't have when she was a teenager, because speculating and shipping real people is totally not cool, but like I was a teenager who didn't know better and got caught up in the internet of things, and yeah. Anyways, coffee break. Okay, now that I've yapped for like 5 minutes, let's get on to my actual 6-star reads. So first up of the actual 6-star reads, we have Fresh by Margot Wood. This was a book that I just randomly picked up at the bookstore. Like, I hadn't heard anything about it. I just like was browsing, saw the cover. Like, it's just about the main character going to college, but she also has ADHD, and this book also has footnotes, which was so fun. I feel like most people don't like footnotes, but I loved it, especially when you listen to the audiobook at like the same, because the way that I like to read is I listen to the audiobook while reading the text at the same time, and it's so fun to do it that way, especially with this book, because The footnotes are pretty much just her like putting in little like side comments. So let's find like a fun one. Well, do I want to say this one? So this is the main text. Jesus Christ on a cracker, McHugh, that's her last name. Pull your shit together. And then the footnote says, it has just occurred to me just now, right in this very moment, that I am incredibly thankful that I don't get boners. So, you know, it's just dumb stuff like that, and it's so fun. I just found one that I forgot that she was like talking to us, like breaking the fourth wall. It's been an hour and a half and I'm somewhere between 4 and 5 shots of tequila and having the time of my damn life. And then the footnote is, have I told you, dear reader, how much I love you lately? I do. It's super cool that you've made it this far into the story, and I just love you a lot. 5 stars on Goodreads, please. Girl, it was 6 stars. I'm really bad at remembering like everything about a book. I just know that like I loved it. It was great. I rated it 5 stars on Goodreads, 6 stars in my heart. So I said I was a yapper, and I meant it. Next up, we have Kill the Boy Band by Golden Moldavsky. You will see that there is a theme in the type of my 6-star reads. I like bands. Specifically fangirls of bands, because that's me. This book was incredibly ridiculous in the best way possible. I flew through it so fast. I loved it so much. It's about this group of girls who stay at the same hotel as their favorite band members and accidentally kidnap him. Literally, this is the thingy, blurb, that's what it's called. Just so you know, from the start, it wasn't supposed to go like this. All we wanted was to get near them. That's why we got a room in the hotel where they were staying. We were not planning to kidnap one of them, especially not the most useless one. But we had him, his room keys, his cell phone, and his secrets. We were not planning on what happened next. We swear. And it's so good. Oh, I loved it. I loved it so much. This book is for anyone who was a like crazy fangirl in their teenage years. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a crazy fangirl, but not in the like parasocial, you know, just being invasive online and stuff like that. But you know, I was a teenager in 2014 and I didn't know any better, unfortunately, and I was a little like that. And this book is that, but in like a comedy way. Like, can we also just talk about the copy that I have? Like, this is the naked hardback. And like the end pages, insane. It's so cool. I love it. Then we have Verona Comics. This is the only book that I don't own physically because I read it from the library and I just never picked up a physical copy. This was definitely a case of like right place, right book. I was just in the mood for it, I guess, and it also kind of dealt with fangirl kind of stuff again. But instead of a band, she's like fans of comics and stuff like that. I honestly don't remember a whole lot about this book. I just know it had like mental health representation and that was really good. It's the type of relationship where they're talking to each other online without knowing that it's them in real life. So they were texting each other while also following for each other in person and feeling bad because they were like, well, I liked this guy that I was texting, but like I really liked this guy in person and I don't know like who to be with. And surprise, surprise, they were the same person. And I eat that up every time. I think it's a like You've Got Mail retelling. I don't know, I've never seen You Got Mail, so I just know that's like the premise of it. Just know I loved it. Okay, next up, we're kind of cheating because it's 2 books, but like more specifically the second book. This is a duology called Killing November and Hunting November. I loved both of these so much. I read them both in like a single day. Not both of them, I mean like I read them each respectively in a single day. I didn't read both books in one day, you know what I mean? I read both of them in 2 days, 1 day each. Ever since reading these books, I have been searching for another book to give me the same feelings that I had from this series, it's 2 books, this duology, but like nothing has quite ever lived up to it. Like, oh, by the way, they're by Adriana Mather. Basically, it's about this girl, her name is November, and she gets stolen. She gets sent to a boarding school that is actually a school to train assassins. She did not know this thing existed, and she also did not know she was going to this boarding school. they just like drugged her and sent her there, and then she woke up and that's where she was, and is like forced to learn to train to become an assassin. Book 2 is specifically the 6-star read. I just kind of include both of them because you obviously have to read book 1 to read book 2. But book 2 was so good. I ate this book up so much. It made me cry. It gave me like, it made my heart race. It had so much adventure and fun, and the characters are great. I love these books so much, and I fear I will never find something again that will give me the same feeling as these books did, because I feel like there's nothing out there that is like it. There's never any like contemporary assassin, especially in like YA with like romance, because I don't read fantasy. I read YA romance and like thriller mysteries and stuff like this sometimes, but it's like I've never been able to find anything similar to this, and I love it so much. So basically, if you read these books and then you have any recommendations for anything that'll give me a similar feeling to these books, please let me know. The next 2 books are also books in a series, so like you have to read multiple books to get there, but I promise my top 4 are all standalones. So next up we have Redeeming Six by Chloe Walsh. I love this series so much. It took me so long to like give into the hype because I don't really like sports, and so I thought that these were going to be more of like a sports romance. I feel like everybody who would recommend the Boys of Tommen series, you can see the other 3 are over here and then Taming Seven's right there. Everybody who recommended the Boys of Tommen series would just say like, it's so good, I love it so much, and like I love these characters, and like you should read it, and they would never tell me what it's about. Not like me personally, I mean like booktubers or like book talkers or whatever, like anybody who talked about this series would never tell me what it's about. But the thing is, you can't really explain it. A bunch of characters going through trauma but also loving each other, and like the found family and friendships, and it's just it has a bajillion trigger warnings. So if you are one of the people that hasn't read this yet, just like I wasn't until like 9 months ago, look up the trigger warnings if there's anything that would trigger you. Yes, highly suggest. But Redeeming Six specifically, this is book 4. Oh, my baby. And also like she's so thick and floppy. I am a thick book lover, like especially because I am a character over plot girly. Like if I love the characters, I will read them doing anything. So I'm like, I want to spend this much time with my favorite characters. Yes, please. I had no issue with it being super long. I wanted it to be long. I know that's a very unpopular opinion, I guess. Most people like don't like long books. I do. The fact that this was like 750 pages was mwah, chef's kiss. Book 1 and 2 follow Johnny and Shannon, and book 3 and 4 follow Joey and Eva. And I went into it with the expectations that I wasn't really gonna like Joey and Eva, just because I feel like everybody is so ride or die for Johnny and Shannon, and they will always love Johnny and Shannon the most. So I, was a little scared and was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like Joey and Eva's story. Oh, I loved, and this, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it has my least favorite trope like ever, and it's like the entire book, and yet I loved this book the most out of all of the books that I've read Taming Seven too. Like out of all of them that I've read, I loved this one the most. If that tells you anything, I don't know. But Redeeming Six is my newest addition to my 6-star reads. I loved her so much. I can't really talk much about it because it is book 4 in a series, but I love Joey and Eva so much. I love Joey. Joey is probably my favorite character in the entire series, closely followed by Shannon and Gibbsy. So if you couldn't tell, I ate up book 1 and 2 because Shannon, I ate up book 3 and 4 because Joey, and I ate up book 5 because Gibbsy. Book 6 I'm a little scared about, but it's fine. It comes out next month and I'm so excited. Okay, now this is the last book that is in a series. We have Daydream by Hannah Grace. I love Icebreaker and Wildfire, they're both right here, but Daydream was written for me. I feel like Hannah just took me, split me in two, and made these characters. Because I am a little bit of Hallie and I'm a little bit of Henry. Put them together, it's me, baby. I know that most people, this is their least favorite book in the series, it seems, but it's also funny because I feel like everyone's like ranking of the series is, this is number 3, Wildfire's number 2, and Icebreaker's number 1. But I have the opposite. Like, Icebreaker's my least favorite in the series so far. I also loved Wildfire, but Daydream was the 6-star read for me. Which I guess all of these can kind of be read as a standalone anyways, because they follow different couples every time. So it's just the only thing that would be a spoiler is that the other couples exist, but obviously it's a romance book. Like, you know that those couples are together. So like seeing them together in this book doesn't really, you know, change anything because like duh. But it's just more fun to like get the little flashes of them in the other 2 books, or like 1 book if you read the first 2. The parts that I related to and why I loved it so much is because Henry is hinted at being neurodivergent. I think Hannah Grace like said that like he is, but he's not like diagnosed, or like he doesn't know it himself, but he's like written to be like neurodivergent coded, and that's very much me because I'm not like officially diagnosed, but like, hey, I'm autistic. And then like Hallie has just like not really had much relationship experience, and like she's a Swiftie. The cardigan she's wearing is Taylor Swift cardigan. There was a lot that I related to, and I loved this book dearly. And once again, like I said in the beginning with I Was Born for This, someone's gotta love this book, and it's gonna be me. Not everyone loves it, but she's mine. She's mine. Now we're getting into my top 4, my solid, like, these have been my 6-star reads for years. Love these. Well, I guess not years, but these have been my 6-star reads for a long time. Love them. Mwah, chef's kiss. And coincidentally, they all start with S. I didn't do this on purpose, I promise, but apparently to be in my top 4 favorite books, you just have to start with an S. I don't really want to take it out of the stack, so I'm just gonna kind of like shuffle over. So we have See You Yesterday by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I'll put the full cover right here. This book was the first book to ever make me cry, which is a very hard thing for me to do. I have a running list going, and I've only cried at about like maybe 6 or 7 books. Like, it's very small. Even books that like most people cry at, I have not, because I don't know, I just don't cry. So yeah, it was the first book to ever make me sob. It's about 2 characters who get stuck in a time loop together, and then they have to figure out how to get out of the time loop. And I don't know, I fell for it so much. And it features, it's set in Seattle, but they do go to Vancouver at one point, and that's where I'm from, so it's kind of fun just to be like, ooh, I've been there, because I've been to Seattle many times, and then like Vancouver is like where I'm from, so I'm like, hey, I know these places, that's so fun. And then I don't know what else to say about it. I loved it. I love the characters again, and Miles, my beloved, but also related to Barrett in so many ways, so it was perfect for me. Then we have Stay With My Heart by Tashi Bouillon. Once again, bands. I'm gonna shuffle back. As someone who is a fan of the local scene, like I go to a lot of local Vancouver shows. If you ever want any recs for bands that are smaller in Vancouver, let me know. I've got so many. Liana ends up working with a local band to like try and get them like they're like up and coming, and she's trying to like gain them a fan base because her dad works in the music industry, and she was the cause of them losing out on an opportunity, but they don't know that she was the cause. So because she feels guilty, she's like, okay, I'm gonna secretly help this band to like help my guilty conscience. And she obviously ends up falling in love with the lead singer. So this book is like Wattpad in the best way possible. Like, yeah, ate it up. I urge you to read this if you're a fan of music at all. So boy bands, stuff like that. Yeah. Also, like, the other band members, I love them so much. Ethan? I wrote it so long ago. I think Ethan was my favorite. I think that's his name. I wrote it in my review on Goodreads, so go see that. We're coming up on my top 2 favorite books of all time! Something More by Jackie Kallalia. This book! Oh, it was so... well, that's a lie. One of the only authors to ever make me love a love triangle. As you can see, this is a love triangle. There are 2 boys on the cover. This is about Jessie, who is recently diagnosed autistic, and she is headed to high school for the first time, obviously. And she's just, you know, trying to navigate life being autistic and, you know, falling in love for the first time, like making friends, all of that stuff that, you know, a normal teenager goes through that it's already a hard time, but throw in the autism diagnosis and it's like so much different. Because yeah, if I had known when I was younger that would have answered a lot of questions for me. So, you know, but I loved the love triangle even, and also the reason I hate love triangles is because I always root for the wrong person. every time. And in this book, I chose right. I'm not gonna spoil who she ends up getting with, but just know the one she ends up with, my man's. I love him. And the cool thing about this book was actually it was sent to me by the author because I made a book talk video that I read the book from the library or like on my Kindle, and I didn't have a physical copy, and she sent me a signed copy, and it says to me, it says, "Dear Morgan, thank you for loving my book, Jackie." And she even sent me the little like goodies that you get if you pre-ordered the book. There's a little art card with the two of them, and then you get a little get a bookmark with both couples on it, and it was so sweet and nice, and it's like one of the coolest things I own. And speaking of, literally just yesterday I got the arc of You Started It by Jackie in the mail, and two of the coolest things I own right here. Like, I have a personally signed copy of Something More, and I have an arc of You Started It. Jackie Kelly, I love you so much. You don't understand. She literally only has one book that I've read and one that I'm soon to read, and she's like one of my favorite authors already of all time. So yeah, I cannot wait to gobble this up. You don't understand. If you have made it this far, I love you so much. Thank you for listening to me yap for however long this will be once I edit it down. You have reached my favorite book of all time, Solitaire by Alice Oseman. Remember when I said Alice Oseman was my favorite author? Of course I had to mention, me versus just now realizing that I most definitely forgot to mention Heartstopper, like the entire series. It's all right here. I don't want to get it, but like just know that the entire like Heartstopper graphic novels are also considered like a 6-star series for me. I don't have a favorite volume, I don't think. Like, you know, the Paris one was fun, so yeah, but in my mind they're just like all, I read them online and not like volume wise, so in my mind they're just like, it's just one big book. So I don't have a favorite volume, but just the entire Heartstopper series, my beloved. But Solitaire specifically, this is my book. This is my book. If you ever wanted to know who I was, just read this book. Because her thoughts are my thoughts. I have so many copies of this book because it is my favorite. When I say so many, hold on. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6? Only 6? I feel like I have more than that. I have 6 copies of this book, including one that is not even in English just because I wanted it for the special cover. I'll insert a picture. I have a stack up there and I don't want to disturb the stack. This book is about Tori Spring and Michael Holden. I am Tori Spring and Michael Holden is my beloved favorite character in the Osemanverse, favorite character in like any book ever. I love Michael so much, and when he showed up in the TV show, the big day for annoying people. I'm annoying people. Like, oh, he's so perfect, and he's so like just like he is in here, and I loved him so much. Michael Holden, my beloved. That's my son. Like, I went to give him big hugs, and Tori is just me. I actually dressed up as Tori for Halloween this past Halloween after wanting to do it since like 2021 when I first read this book, and I finally did it, and it was so fun and I loved it. And yeah, I don't know how to explain this book really, but it's basically just, this is the like blurb. My name is Tori Spring. I like to sleep and I like to blog. Last year I had friends. Things were very different, I guess, but that's all over now. Now there's Solitaire and Michael Holden. I don't know what Solitaire are trying to do, and I don't care about Michael Holden. I really don't. And then like the front is like, this is not a love story, but like it is, you know. I love this book. It is a bit heavy and there is like trigger warnings for this book as well. But basically it's just Tori is at school and she doesn't really have very many friends. Mood. All of a sudden this blog or like this group, I don't know how to, this like website comes up called Solitaire, not the card game. They just start like messing with people at the school, or like they start messing with the school and like doing like pranks kind of, if you will, and then things start to like slowly get out of hand. But at the same time, when she discovers what Solitaire is, she meets Michael, and he also is like trying to solve the mystery of like who is Solitaire and what are they trying to do, and in turn they like form a friendship and like, you know, maybe a little bit of a romance, I don't know. I just and if you like Heartstopper, Nick and Charlie this is Charlie's sister, if you didn't know, if you've been living under a rock. This was the origin of Nick and Charlie, because Alice wrote this book first, before Heartstopper. But yeah, Solitaire is my favorite book of all time, and I love it so much. I've reread it like twice now since then, and I still love it since. I need to reread it again. It's been a while, but yeah, Solitaire, my beloved. And I guess that's all that I have to say for now. If you've listened to me yap for this long, I appreciate you so much, and welcome to my booktube channel. I have a few other little ideas that I'm gonna do soon. I also am in the process of moving right now, so you might only see this setup in one more video, because I am gonna film another one just a little bit after this, and then I will be at the new house with new bookshelves, so you will get a video of me reorganizing my bookshelves. If you stay till the end, comment down below what your favorite book of all time is. Like, comment, subscribe, because I am new here, and if you want to be besties, let me know. Bye!